Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Happy Sunday evening to you. I am so excited that I get to join you this evening for one of our speaker interviews. My name is Amy Satterfield. I'm part of the leadership team for the Small Church Ministry. And I just want to know who's here. If you're watching this now or you're watching this later, please put your name in the chat or tell us where you're from, what state you're from. Because as you're going to find out through the conference and us getting together at the conference, we love to get to know people and we love to make connections all over the country and all over the world. So please tell us who you are and where you live. And even if you're watching it later, please put that in there because we want to know who you are and get connected with you. We've got someone from Alaska and we've got someone watching from Michigan. So welcome. It's so good to be here. I'm super excited because this is one of my first interviews that I get to do for this conference. So I'm ready to get jazzed up and get juiced up to be with Lady Aisha Fisher. I want to make sure I had your name correct. And she's joining us from Pennsylvania tonight. She's going to be one of our speakers for the very next conference we have coming up. It's Married to the Pastor. Whoops, I put up the wrong banner. Married to the Pastor. And it's our next conference coming up July 22nd. Welcome, Lady Aisha. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, great. So tell us a little bit about you and yourself and your ministry. Where do you live? Tell us about your family, just all that kind of good stuff.
All right. So my name is Lady Aisha Fisher, and I am a follower of Christ. I am a wife. I am a mother of 6 and a minister of God's word. And so I wear many hats. My husband and I founded Abundant Life Ministries of Aliquippa, and we live in Aliquippa. We're about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And so, that's who I am.
Wonderful. We're just so glad that you're here. Tell us about your ministry, Abundant Life.
Abundant Life Ministries, we are focused on families, building families. We believe that if you have a strong family, you have a strong community. And so one of our focuses is on marriage. And, and when you have a strong marriage, you have strong children. And so it all flows together. I particularly focus on women, but that is what our ministry focus is as a whole.
Wonderful. So, with 6 kids, you've got a lot of experience with being in the family. So I'm sure you have an amazing wealth of experience and knowledge to bring to your ministry. Tell us a little bit about your kids.
Okay. Well, my children are ages 2 to 25.
Woo!
And so our oldest is 25. And maybe it's easier for me to start at the beginning, at the youngest. So 2, 8, 14, 15, 16, and 25. So we've got a broad range. I basically started all over with a 2-year-old
Yeah, you sure did.
when my oldest was 23. Both of their birthdays are in June. One is the 16th, one is the 18th. I said the beginning and the end all in one month. That's it.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Yes, absolutely. You've got children in every stage of life, like
yes.
Seasons. So I'm sure that you can speak to any woman, no matter what season of life that she's in.
Yes.
So that's a wealth of knowledge and experience right there. Like already we've got people in the chat just saying you're a rock star. Like we're just gonna stop right there and pause. Like you're just a rock star. So we welcome you here, and we're so excited that you're going to be a speaker for our conference, Married to the Pastor. So you are a pastor's wife, and so tell us a little bit about your experience as a pastor's wife. You said you kind of focus on women, but you also do things with family and raising children. So just tell us a little bit about your experience as a pastor's wife with all the hats and roles that you wear.
Yes, many hats. And I've learned a lot along the way, which is why I love our topic, because I've been through a lot of the things that a lot of the women struggle with as a pastor's wife. But when I married my husband, he was already a minister, and we got married, and I joined his church, and they believed that the wife should be trained alongside a minister. And so I was automatically thrown into ministry, even from the very start.
Okay.
We ended up founding our ministry, which is a little bit different. We're still a small church, but there's another dynamic to founding it yourself, with a lot of roles to be filled. When other people don't do them, you got to step in and do them. So even before having a church, we operated in many ministries, and that was so helpful in having our own church, because I was able to operate in many ministries as well. In the beginning, I was overwhelmed and I tried to do too much. And actually, I found this small church ministry in a state of being overwhelmed and frustrated with taking on too much. And it was such a blessing and such an encouragement. And since then, I have gradually decreased my load, because I have a load just in marriage and just in family. And so the church aspect and the church dynamic is just something that you really need to be rooted and grounded in God, to be able to discern and handle with wisdom.
So you found a small church ministry in a season of being overwhelmed. And so the community, what did you find that was so helpful to you within the community or within the resources that we provide?
When I first found the conference, not when I found it, God presented it to me, because
Absolutely. I hear you. Yes,
he knew my struggle, and he just laid it before me. And I always say, when there's an open door, when God opens a door, just walk through it. And free is a good door to walk through. And so
absolutely.
When I looked at the schedule, I was just like, this is all day. Like, what are we really going to do all day long? I'm like, what are we going to do? But then when we dived in, it didn't feel like it was just nuggets on nuggets and the time just flew, and I was just encouraged the whole way through. And it was just a wonderful experience that really helped me in more ways than what I came for, because there's so many speakers, there's so many options, so many topics, so many different personalities. So I got more than what I came for. I came for one thing, but I got more than what I came for. And that's a blessing.
Lady Aisha, you just don't know what testimony that is that encourages us that have been doing this and participating. I know Becky is here with us and some others, and Laurie is watching, probably you're going to watch it later. To hear that testimony is so very encouraging, because that's what we want. Mm-hmm. We want to find those women who feel just like you felt, and then they come to this community and they get, more than what they were looking for, more than they were. And isn't that just like God?
It is. That's how he works.
Isn't it just like God? So we could just say amen over that and call it a day, because he's just that good. So we are so thankful that you're here, and you're exactly the type of woman that we hope to serve, because now you found us, you got part of the community, you participated, and you've gotten those gold nuggets, you've gotten those things that are benefiting you, but now you're part of us and you've become a speaker. And so now you want to share with us what it is that you're learning, how God is growing you. And we can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us at the conference on July 22nd. Our next conference is coming up just in a few weeks on July 22nd. And we're so excited. We just want to give just a little teaser. We just want to tell you a little bit about Lady Aisha's topic. She's going to be talking about discerning your role as a pastor's wife beyond stereotypes and expectations. So who is this session for? If you're talking to one woman out there during your session, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the woman who I see over and over again in Facebook communities, who ask the question, what is my role as a pastor's wife? That is really how this topic came about, because I've seen it over and over and over. And I'm like, this is a need here. This is a need, because people get overwhelmed. And sitting down with Lori, coming up with this full title was just a process in itself. And we were talking about stereotypes and expectations. And she said, and we were talking about the expectations that other people put on us. But she said, guess what? Sometimes we put expectations on ourselves. And I was like, that's good. Right. And so this is for the woman who asked the question, what is my role as a pastor's wife? And we're just going to take it, go in deep and get some real practical
deep dive in there. Absolutely. And I'm sure you're going to have gold nuggets for the people that are listening and watching, and have some great wisdom to share, because like you said, it sounds like a little bit of a unique situation where you married your husband and he was already a pastor. Sometimes things get, our ministries get started up in different kinds of ways, whether we both of the spouses are called, or one spouse is called after they're married, or, different things. So it sounds like you kind of knew that you were marrying a pastor, but of course it sounds like maybe those roles and expectations still maybe took you a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, even though I knew, I didn't know, because you don't know what you're getting into. You can have your own stereotypes and expectations about what this ministry life is going to look like, and it looks like something different or something more, or
I love it. I love it. That's like, because we like to do quotes, all throughout the conference, and different things that people say. It's like, that's a perfect quote I'd like to add to the quote reel. Is like, I knew it, but I didn't know it.
Yes.
That's really great. So you're talking about discerning your role as a pastor's wife beyond stereotypes and expectations. So what have been some of the struggles? You mentioned this just a little bit. What have been some of the struggles you've experienced as a pastor's wife?
Taking on too much.
Yes.
That was my biggest thing, taking on too much. And it began to impact me. And once it impacted me, it impacted my husband, and it impacted our marriage. And God just showed me through different resources how to work that out so that it is not a burden. I don't know where I heard this from, but talking about taking on the yoke is easy, right? Ministry is labor. It's not vacation. It is work. It takes work. It's labor, right? And so,
yes.
But the thing is that the yoke is supposed to be light, and if it's not light, then there's a misbalance. And so, one of our focuses in our church is the threefold nature of man, and how we are a spirit that has a soul and lives in a body, and how all of those need to be aligned in order to be holistically healthy and whole. Yes. And if you're not holistically healthy and whole, you can't have the maximum impact in your realm of influence. You can't have the maximum impact in your marriage, or in the lives of your children, or in the lives of your church. Absolutely. And so that is very, very important.
So when you said you were taking on too much, what were some practical steps? What were some practical things that you did to take some things off of your plate? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it was in this conference that I think Lori might have said, this is not your ministry. It's God's ministry.
Yes.
Right. And taking it on as mine. And it was just, the way that I wanted it to be done. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in a sense. I'm not a perfectionist. Excellence. I strive for excellence. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but everything is not going to be perfect. And just trying to do things my way became too much. And I had to just let go of some stuff and say, listen, if God has this thing, if I'm listening to God for direction, I have to listen for him for the directions for this particular situation I'm in. And then instead of trying to do what I want to do, I have to do what God says do.
Absolutely.
And just yielding my will to his, really. Yeah.
And so once you took those steps to remove some things off of your plate, how did that improve your mind, body, spirit, your relationship with God, that overwhelm? How did that change things for you?
It changed drastically, because I went from overwhelmed to intentionally pursuing peace. That's good right there.
Oh.
I said I'm a preacher, so yes, listen, I went from being overwhelmed to pursuing peace.
Oh,
that
wow.
was a drastic change, and it affected everything. Now, it was a process.
Yes.
It was a process, but God showed me how to walk it out. And I did it little by little, took one thing away at a time. You can't just drop everything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I took one thing away at a time. And now my focus is women. And I love it. That's where I flourish.
So you went from overwhelmed to flourishing because you stepped back and you asked God to help you take some things off your plate. You got in your lane, you got in your vein, instead of trying to control everything that you felt the responsibility for.
Yes.
But then, so in the end, you became more productive,
Yes.
more yourself, and you thrived. And I'm sure, would you say that the people around you could tell that you were happier, and the people around you were happier too, right?
Not at first.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Not at first, but they saw, we taught, and then we explained that it was needed, and they accepted that it was needed, and then it all began to work together. It all began to work together.
What I hear is another great concept in this too, is that you went through this process with the people around you. You just didn't drop a bomb and walk away and say, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
You communicated your intentions. You brought people alongside you in this process, which probably, I would think, spill over into their relationships with God and their ministry and their pursuing of peace as well. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes, I mean that's a key role in effective leadership, right? You have people following you. You need to keep them informed of what's going on. They might not like the changes that are being made, but you still inform them that these are the changes being made, so they're not blindsided, right?
Absolutely.
And so to give them an opportunity to step in and say, "Hey, well, I can help with this," or I'm not. But one of the things that I'm talking about in my topic is about focusing on your husband, right? Because what is my role as a pastor's wife, right? A pastor's wife. What is my role as a plumber? What is my role? I don't want to go too deep.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away. All right.
Yeah, but we kind of have the idea of kind of where you're going and the big idea. And I just love the idea of communicating that with other people. So that, and would you find, because we mentioned as leaders, would you bring people along beside them and you tell them the why and the how? It makes those changes easier.
Absolutely.
Is that what your experience was?
Absolutely. Not at first, but eventually. Absolutely.
Yes, journey, process, totally. And it's worth it because the outcome has been so beneficial to all of you, right?
Yes.
Wow. So this has just been so great. I just wanted to let everybody know, if you're here, we're talking about our July 22nd conference, Married to the Pastor. And I'm with Lady Aisha Fisher. And Miss Aisha Fisher, did you know that this is our 12th conference in the small church ministry?
I heard, and 12 is the perfect number for small churches. All it takes is 12. Jesus had 12, give me 12, and I'm good.
Yeah. So if you're watching now or if you're watching later, let me know how many conferences you have attended so far of the 12. I know that there's a few of you here that have been to all 12, but maybe you're new and you can say 0, and that's okay. Any number between 0 and 12, that's all right. Aisha, how many conferences have you attended?
I believe 3.
3. Okay, awesome. So you've gotten your feet wet and you kind of know what we're all about and how to do the whole process and everything. That's awesome. Yeah, I think Laurie has been to all 12. And we've got Becky. I know she's been to all 12. And it's okay. It doesn't matter if you've been to all 12 or if you've been to 0. We're just so glad that you're here. And we're just so excited that we've been doing this for 12 conferences. It's just so amazing. And I just feel like we keep getting better. And each conference we keep gaining new people and new friends and keep growing our connections together. So it's just so awesome. And we wanted to let you know that as we're gearing up for this conference, we give away prizes. Did you know that we give away prizes?
Yes, I did.
I know. Yes. So
they're good prizes too.
Yes. Very good books from different authors, from our different speakers and different people in our community. They have books. And what we want you to do is share about this conference. So go to the Facebook group. You're right here in the Facebook page, and share about this conference. And then we want you to tag Sherry Kohowick. And I want to make sure that I have her thing in here. Let's see. Oh, is Sherry in here today? I'm not sure if she is or not. But if you tag Sherry Kohowick, then and tell her that you shared the conference, then you can be entered for a prize. So we want as many people to share about this conference as possible, because what happens is that people will, after the fact, they'll say, well, I didn't even know this was happening. So we've got to share it, and we want to let as many people know as possible. And you can get your free ticket. You go to smallchurchsummits.com, PS 2023, and get your free ticket. And we want you to do that. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait to the day of. You want to go ahead and get your ticket, because then you're going to get some instructions in your email, and that's going to tell you what to do to sign up for Hop In and different things like that. And like, we just love to have fun. We love to give away prizes. We love to just have a great time and get to know people. That's another reason why we're doing these interviews leading up to the conference, because we want everybody to get to know Lady Aisha, and then they can like find out what she's going to be talking about, and we can start getting to know each other. So we've got a different speaker happening every night, and we just want you to be a part of all the greatness and be a part of our community. Because one of the things we like to say, and I hope that you've experienced this, Lady Aisha, that you came to the conference and it was more than what you thought it was going to be, and you realized it was a community. It wasn't just a one and done experience. It was a community, and then now you're giving back to this community by sharing your wisdom and knowledge. And so that's just what we hope to keep going. Before we go, I know this has been like such a quick little conversation, but before we go, what advice would you have to give any new pastor's wife out there? They're just getting started. They just found our community, and they found themselves to be in that place of overwhelmed. What is one thing that you would share with them?
Maximize this opportunity. It's an open door for help.
That's good.
Walk through it and receive the table that God has laid out for you to eat from.
Oh, yes. Yes, we absolutely want to lay out a table that we can feast from and not be overwhelmed, but to be in that sweet spot of pursuing peace, just like you said. That was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Lady Aisha, it's already been really great talking to you, and I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a joy to speak with you as well.
Oh, wonderful. And everyone, just go get your ticket and share about the conference and enter to win some prizes. And we'll see you tomorrow night for another awesome speaker interview. So y'all have a great evening, okay?
Bye.
All right, bye.